welcome to the grid. You're just thinking about winning a race.
It's going to be two Mercedes going wheel to wheel into turn one.
Brilliant wheel-to-wheel action, definitely game on.
Your finest moment in the race.
What a great race we've got in progress.
Hello there, Test 1, Day 4, and the time for the teams to finish off their pre-season foundations. And today, that meant some wet tyre work. Well, for some it did. Williams were unable to run due to damage Lance Stroll sustained on Wednesday. The team forced to build another chassis ahead of next week's final test. The Mercedes garage was also quiet. At his news conference the day before, Lewis Hamilton joked about faking injury to avoid the wet test. In the event, an electrical problem meant he missed it anyway. Bernie Eccleston never got to introduce his water sprinkler plan to spice up Grand Prix, but the damp provided an entertaining couple of hours. These cars, which had looked so planted, running extra aerodynamic grip, suddenly started to squirm. F1's newest rainmaster, Max Verstappen, stayed out longest, Red Bull having been restricted by exhaust problems on previous days.
I think it's always good, to run a little bit in the wet straight away on the first week of testing. Yeah, the conditions are of course not ideal. I mean, it's the sun is shining and then the track is wet, but at least we got a first idea on the wet tires.
Did you think they needed significant improvement? There's a lot of talk after Brazil, in which you performed very well in, but do you think that the wet tyre in particular needs changing?
We always want more grip, so we always try to improve everything. So, of course, we are looking into it.
Just in terms of the next week, are we really going to see Red Bull take a step up? And how satisfied have you been with your work this week?
Oh yeah, I think for sure. For us, the most important was just to try and make mileage and see if all the parts were holding on. And I think everything has been behaving pretty well.
Just in terms of catching Mercedes, which must be your target, are you worried that they've got this power advantage still and maybe more to come there?
Well, for sure, they will still have an advantage on us in the beginning of the season, power-wise, but I think we are definitely catching up.
Romain Grosjean, who'd similarly lacked mileage this week, also ploughed his furrow of spray. Yet conditions hardly resembled those in Brazil last year, which caused such controversy. So was it all worth it?
It's better than nothing is the best way of putting it. Having said that, yeah, we had great support. With the wider tyres, we knew that there's probably an issue with getting energy into the tyre to get the compounds working, and indeed that's what we saw. So we've got a bit of work to do to get the working range of the wet tyres down to match the performance of the slick tyres, where we're very happy so far.
I wonder if we could just go over to them actually while we talk about them. But the big difference this year is this is no longer going to be a high degradation tyre. So are we even, I'm going to put it in the most extreme terms, even at a race like Silverstone, could you go around using the ultra soft and the super soft and just make one pit stop? Is that possible?
I'm not sure about the ultra soft and super soft. I think that's pushing it a bit, but certainly something on a medium tyre, you're getting close, and most of the races will transfer to one stop. But there's a big but in the sense we haven't yet seen the cars in full race condition. We believe there's going to be probably here 2, maybe 3 seconds more to come, and 3 seconds is a massive amount of energy going into the tyre. So what might seem conservative right now with 15 degrees centigrade, when you've got 30 degrees in May, going 3 seconds quicker, it changes the whole scenario.
Mercedes repaired their glitch in time for Valtteri Bottas to squeeze in some laps on slicks, and he carried on after more sprinkler action. Somewhat ominously, Sky Sports has learned Mercedes have yet to run their engine in its higher power modes as they continue to address issues which emerged in factory testing. Well, Valtteri, you got a few extra laps today, but I suppose maybe Lewis, at a stage like this, less needs them than you do. How much does it help to help you bed into this team?
Well, yes, there was opportunity for me to get a few extra laps. Obviously, I took them. For me, I think it's a big benefit, any lap extra. any minute, second extra in the car or with this team is going to benefit me. So it was good to get a little bit of extra running, and got decent amount of laps today again, with plenty of different conditions, with a extreme wet, with the inter, with the dry tires. So I think overall, again, valuable day.
I'm wondering how hungry you are to win a race again. It's been a few years, and this does seem like a winning car. Do you think you'll have to relearn anything in racing terms, running at the front and so on?
They're definitely very hungry for the wins. Obviously, I try to not make it a thing, you know, not to take any extra pressure out of it. I know in junior Formula that I can do it. I've won a lot of races there. But this is Formula 1 and everything is next level, and it's extremely difficult. But yeah, we need to go day by day, race by race. But obviously that is going to be the goal, winning this year, and it's a goal for me and for the team. But it's early days, we're only testing, and we need to keep our feet on the ground, work hard, and we'll find out soon if it's possible.
Just one last thing then, your second favourite for the championship. I suppose that's because you're where you are with this team. I suppose that is another little advantage for Lewis, isn't it? He's been over the course in terms of challenging for a title. Will you just have to take things race by race? It's a cliche, but is that the way you've got to go this year?
I think I do. You know, definitely I do want to perform from the very first race, because every race is as important as any in the whole calendar. We need to score good points immediately. So I wanna meet the expectations of the team quickly. That's my target, and that's why I've been working really hard since mid-January for this. And yeah, it's been a valuable few days in the car. Next week is going to be again important. Going to learn a lot. So I'm sure we will be well prepared, and we can do good things very soon.
If Mercedes have made that significant engine step yet to be revealed, it will be good news for customers like Force India. Would it explain their bullish target of third in the championship? Sergio Perez signed off for them on week 1, having for a time led the standings. The team he might have joined, Renault, have talked about out-developing them over the season. Julian Palmer completed their running. What percentage would you say of the programme you'd hoped to get done have you got done?
Certainly not all of it, but we're quite happy with how it's gone so far. I think the biggest downside is the amount of laps we've done, because every day there's just been a few teething problems. I hope we can dial that out next week. But when we're running the car, it's quite positive, so we'd like to get more laps, but at the moment we're still quite happy.
How has it been as a physical test? What bits of the body are you feeling a little bit?
It's more physical, and then the neck really. We've been training it all winter, but then you get in the car and you hit the G-force and you do even 50 laps in half a day, and yeah, it's a lot of high-speed corners and long loads, so it's something different to what you can actually do in the gym. But to be honest, I've found it okay, but we've not done enough laps in a day yet, so maybe next week. I hope next week it'll be a bit harder.
McLaren took themselves off the bottom of the lap total charts via Stoffel van Doorn, yet race length stints still eluded them. Toro Rosso finished week 1 with the lowest mileage, like McLaren Honda, perhaps reflective of a revamped engine's teething glitches. You haven't as much running as you would have wished for. Nevertheless, is this still as good a car potentially at this stage in a season as you've had at this team?
Without the running, it's difficult to tell, because you know, at the end of the day, the performance is all relative. You know, and we've seen some other people doing more laps, more performance-based programs. At the moment, we're happy with where we are. You know, we're not looking at the lap times, but we haven't really gone for any lap times yet, so it's early days. But doing the maths, it looks like it's quite reasonable. So you know, last 2 years we've qualified both cars well in Melbourne, top 10. You know, that's got to be our plan for this year. But let's see, because it is all relative, and there's many cars that are quite unquantified out there at the moment.
I was going to say that a lot of people are saying they haven't seen so much held back ahead of a second week of testing than they have this year, both in terms of aero bits and maybe engine performance as well. But is that fair? Is it a bit of a phony war, even though the times are falling all the time?
I think I think it's only natural to sandbag a bit at this point. Maybe not everyone is, but you don't want to show your hand too early. It's too late to react for Melbourne, but you know, the earliest you get an impression of where everyone is and where you are in respect, you know, you might change your plans. So I think we'll be seeing the lap times tumble next week, I would imagine, yeah.
A mixed-up timesheet ended with Ferrari top for a second time. A 2-2 draw with Mercedes for that distinction. In terms of readiness, those two teams certainly appear ahead of the rest, with Red Bull yet to get into their stride, but confident still they can be in the mix. Team bosses have talked about a tight middle six, involving all the rest bar Sauber, whose year-old engine still appears a major handicap.
Well, obviously it's a new year, new cars, new rules, so it's not very easy to compare, but so far everything's been going well, and the car's running well, so you know it's hard to compare it to anywhere. If you purely compare to last year, it feels a lot better, but then that's what you expect with the rule changes. And but like I said, yeah, we've been doing our own stuff, and you know, happy how things are running.
We've perhaps seen a crescent rather than the whole of the moon in performance terms, even though the cars have orbited this Circuit de Catalunya several thousand times this week. The midfield looks very tight, maybe 6 teams involved in that fight, but what about the front runners? Well, there is this question mark whether Mercedes simply turn up the gas next week and blast away from the rest of the field. What about Ferrari? Is this a genuine renaissance or just another false dawn? We've had several of those in recent seasons. And will the Red Bull car that we've seen here this week in any way resemble next week's or the one that starts the first Grand Prix of the season in Melbourne at the end of the month? Ted Kravitz will have a bit more of that in Development Corner. That's coming up after the break.